Word. Okay. All right. Well, I'll just introduce myself really quickly. For those of you that I have not met before, and I've met some of you, my name is Kaylee Taylor. I am the Business Development and Marketing Manager for Green Home Loans. We are a mortgage broker. We have the best rates, every loan you can imagine under the sun, and my whole job is to, meet with our agent partners, understand your origination strategies and what we can do to help you bring in more business. So we try to add value in any way we can and just really try to support you and your business. So if you ever want to chat, I'm here. We like to do these classes like once a month, 2 times a month with our amazing title rep, Bree from Great American Title. She is a huge asset to us. I appreciate her very much. And she's a phenomenal instructor and always comes up with great classes to give back to our agents. So, Bree, take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kaylee. Um, my name's Bree Kruger. I'm with Great American Title, and I've been in the industry about 16 years now. And I was on the agent side managing the large mega teams here in the Valley. And as a sales director, what I did is help agents grow their business and really help them with the systems, the technology, the marketing, the tools. And we're going to talk a lot about leverage today and how to leverage the different mediums that you guys have access to being an agent in today's world. And I love talking about farming because it's not just print, it's digital as well. And I think every agent should do some type of farming. And we'll get into the different types today, but it's a great way that you can have control over your leads and you can really target the people that you really want to target, right? And there's a couple different ways to do it. So we're going to go through it today. If you guys haven't used Green Home Loans, they're phenomenal. They're absolutely amazing. I'm licensed. I don't practice anymore, but Reggie and his team were my loan officers back in the day, and they've always had the best rates, and they've always been super attentive to my clients, which is extremely important. I'm sure we've all had those loan officers out there who haven't been very responsive, and they're always on top of it, which is phenomenal. It makes you look good as an agent, and they're just great partners.
Thank you, Bree.
All right, so we're going to talk about farming. So why farming? Farming is a way, like I said, that you can kind of control your lead gen. And lead gen, you can either pay for it or you can work really hard for it. And there's lots of shiny objects in this industry, and one of them is leads, right? So leads always are like, hey, whether it's realtor.com or Zillow leads or Homelight or OpCity or whatever the different lead sources are, even like Google and Facebook ads, there's there's very little control that you have over your leads. So to kind of create your own lead gen bucket, one of the best ways to do that is farming. And farming can be many different things. I use that term pretty loosely. So it can be, let's say, you're farming for sale by owners, you're farming expireds, you have a geographical farm. It could be a likely to sell farm. It could be, let's say, moms in your neighborhood. It can be as specific as you want it to be. And I think a lot of people just think, oh, it has to be geographical. It doesn't have to be geographical. Um, Most traditional farming is geographical, but you don't have to just kind of concede to that when we talk about farming. I have agents that do probate leads, and that's their farm. They go after tons of different probate leads in Scottsdale or in Gilbert, and that's all they focus on, and that is their farm. So I want you guys to kind of open up your mind to farming not being such a boundary specific um, boundary specific neighborhood, although it can be. All right, and then we're going to talk about print and we're going to talk about digital. So print, and I'll have some examples coming up, but print can be postcards. It can be like what's going on in the market. Another thing that I really like to have my agents do is creating that value through the lifestyle And what I mean by that is maybe the events that are happening in a neighborhood or that really will resonate with your farm. Like, for example, if you have a mom's group in Gilbert, and we'll talk about different ways to incorporate the digital and the print together and layer it up. But you can do a postcard with events that are geared towards moms in Gilbert. So I kind of want you guys to think about there's so many different ways to access print and then also layer it up with digital. And we'll go through some examples. Um, all day long, my passion is to help agents grow their business. So if you need some marketing collateral, whether it's digital or print, just let me know. We have an in-house print shop, so it's no cost to you guys. Postcards, all you have to do is pay for the stamp. Everything else is taken care of. We have to be compliant. And then digital, everything we can do really, really quickly. We have 4 designers on staff. And we also have just lots of different resources for you guys. So one of my favorite is the Arizona relocation guide. We have so many people coming to Arizona. So I have a lot of agents and I'll show you kind of some examples of what that looks like, but a lot of agents will have me create a relocation guide. And not only do they have the digital relocation guide, but we can actually create it into a flip book. So you can have a URL link to send to out of state potential buyers coming to Arizona. And we have some agents who do that with like Facebook ads. I have an agent that does it with a billboard with a QR code that goes to his website where they download the relocation guide. I mean, there's just so many different ways you can leverage the digital flip books and social media posts and Facebook groups and all kinds of stuff. All right, so geographical farming. One of the main traditional ways of farming is geographical, obviously. So selecting an area, and also when you select an area, and I do this with my agents, make sure that there's something called the turnover rate, and that's how many homes have sold in a specific area. And you want to make sure the turnover rate um, is between, I would say, about 5% and up minimum. And that just means there's things moving. There's inventory moving in that area. I live in a neighborhood that almost everyone is original owners. No one moves in my neighborhood. My neighborhood would not be a good place to farm because no one moves. They're not the original owners haven't aged into like they need to go into assisted living or anything like that yet. We're still in their 60s, they're enjoying their life, they're active, but no one's moving. So the turnover rate will actually show us, hey, there's people who are moving out and about in this specific neighborhood. And I have some different tools that I use to look at that. And then likely to sell. One of the things that you want to think about is, do you want to have a geographical area that is all of a certain neighborhood? Or do you want to do like a likely to sell list? And there's different filters that I put in for my agents in creating a geographical farm that's likely to sell. And a couple of those filters are they've lived in the property at least 7 years. We know the buy cycle in Arizona is between 7 and 9 years. Everyone in Arizona, it averages out to every 7 to 9 years, people move. Of course, there's people that move sooner, and there's people like my neighborhood who stay longer. But we want to put some filters in so that we really have the most likely to sell. Also, equity percentage is a big, excuse me, is a big filter for likely to sell. So if someone has like a 60% or higher equity percentage, you know that they are in a good position if they were to sell. Not only would they be a perfect candidate for like a move up buyer or downsizing or maybe relocation to another area within the valley, but you know that um, they'll make some money on the deal. And a lot of people wait until their equity percentage is a certain percent in order before they move. And luckily, here in Arizona, we have a ton of equity in our neighborhoods, which is great. We can also pull emails and phones. We can't get everyone's email and everyone's phone just because a lot of people have their properties in either trusts or an LLC or something like that, and we can't pull that data of an entity. But a traditional homeowner, we can typically pull their phone number and email. Open houses. So if you're doing a geographical farm, think about doing all mediums of your farming, including your open houses within that area. So you want to become the absolute neighborhood expert. And one of the ways that you can do that and really get your face out there is by doing open houses in that specific neighborhood. So let's say you were going to do McCormick Ranch in Scottsdale and you want to be the top agent in one of the subdivisions in McCormick Ranch. You want to do those open houses when they come available within that area, as close to that area as possible. You want the neighbors to see your face on your signs. You want to drive that activity where they see you everywhere. The whole purpose of farming is they see you in their mailbox. They see you via a digital newsletter, via email. They see you at the open house. They see you on video talking about the hot new restaurant that just opened. All of these things, you want it to kind of go back to the area if you're doing a geographical farm. You can also call in for sale by owners, expireds, cancels, pre-foreclosures, probate, divorce. We have tons of lists that we can pull for you. If you're doing a geographical farm, I recommend that you also go back to specify the area in which you want to focus on and only reach out to pre-foreclosure leads within that area. And the reason for this is if you add too many different areas, it's hard to manage, right? So if you have so many different mediums, you're doing for sale by owners here, and you're doing pre-foreclosures here and open houses here, you're kind of scattering yourself all over the place. And you would make such a bigger impact if you just went specific within your realm in which you want to become that neighborhood expert. Another thing is local businesses. Like you definitely want to build relationships with the local mom and pop businesses within the area. Like the coffee shop up the street, you want to make a connection with the owners, make a connection with the baristas, make a connection with their marketing team. I have an agent that we do a printed newsletter every single month, and she highlights the coffee shop in that newsletter. She also sends it digitally, but because she highlights that local business in her newsletter, they put a stack of them at the front desk or at the front area of the coffee shop when people are ordering. And it's free advertising for that business. So, of course, they're going to be inclined to be like, absolutely, we'll put your newsletter up here. It makes them look really good, but it also allows you to capture their audience of people that walk in the door. So I have agents that do this for like assisted livings or medical offices, a boutique down the street, a CPA's office, a dry cleaner, all of those places. If you connect with the local business owner, a lot of them, I haven't heard yet of someone saying, nope, I don't want to be featured in your newsletter. The other thing you can do, and we'll talk about this in the digital side a lot more, is you want to go deeper with that local business owner. They could be a great referral partner for you. I have one agent that has a dry cleaner. She's friends with them and became friends with them because she started doing a lot of stuff neighborhood specific about local business owners, and she has a local business owner group on Facebook that she adds value to all the time. Once a week, she goes in there and posts something of value. Hey, did you see that this tax thing is coming down the pipe? Hey, did you hear that they're opening office space in our area? She just continually provides value, and she goes towards the business owners, and they refer her good business because of it. She also highlights them via video and interviews those local business owners, which is part of what we'll talk about a lot in the digital side. But she definitely has created the environment to make it as easy as possible for other people to refer her business. If you live in an area that has new home builders or new construction, make connections with those people. A lot of times when people come into a new home builder, they have a home to sell. And who is that sales agent going to refer them to? Someone they know, right? Um, a lot of times it comes down to the relationship that that new home sales agent has with agents that work outside of that specific home builder. So go to your local construction builders and even like small builders and all of that kind of even if it's really small, because you want to create those relationships so that they can refer you business. Typically with new home builders, they only can focus on that particular community, and they refer everything else. So you want to build that connection with them. Another thing is attorneys. So attorneys are a great resource for agents, and you want to make sure that you're easily referable. So whether it's dropping off a referral packet, which I put together for my agents, or you're contacting them via LinkedIn and messaging them a flip book of your referral guide, or you're dropping off donuts in the office or crumble cookies once a week or once a month or whatever that looks like. You want to build relationships with attorneys, especially when it comes to like divorce attorneys and trust attorneys and that kind of attorney. And then financial advisors. Financial advisors and asset wealth managers are a great resource for agents as well. So, what I recommend is go on Google, find some financial advisors, some attorneys that have reviews that are reputable, and go and swing in and talk to the front desk. I mean, you're not going to get straight through the door. There's going to be a gatekeeper, but you want to build a relationship with the person at the front desk. And then you want to provide some type of value. Maybe you're like, hey, I would like to feature you in the newsletter, or maybe I want to interview for a podcast, or maybe I want to do a quick social media video highlighting your financial advisor office, or whatever it is, and start building that relationship together. Do we have some questions? Oh, no. Okay. All right. Print marketing. Print marketing is, it used to be primary back in the day, and it's starting to come back a lot now. And I think a lot of it is because we have so many emails and we have so much saturation on social media. While that's still extremely important, and agents have created huge multi-million dollar businesses off social media and video, I think a lot of people still crave something tangible in their hand. They want to feel it, they want to see it, they want to read it, and it makes a good impression. And what I love about print marketing is that people feel bad throwing it away. So when you create a guide, a buyer's guide or a seller's guide, or have a checklist, moving with pets or moving in the summer, or here's the top 10 things for this season that you should do to make sure your house is running efficiently. Whatever those I call them lead magnets are, you want to print them out, and either you can hand drop them into like door knock the neighborhood, or you just put them into the door jammer or under the mat or something like that. Or you can drop off a guide after you see someone at an open house. Maybe you connect with them. They come into your open house and you drop off a CMA, or maybe it's a for sale by owner lead. One of the biggest strategies I learned that works really, really well, and I've tested it with a lot of agents, is dropping a CMA off at the door. Let's say that you have a for sale by owner, and you just come from a helpful place. You're not trying to be like, I'm better at selling than you are. You just want to provide them information. So maybe you provide them a for sale by owner guide, which I have. If you want one, just let me know. And then you do a CMA, you put both of those in a manila envelope, and you do a handwritten card. You drop it by the door. You don't ring the doorbell. You don't bug them. They're already getting 20 to 50 calls a day from other agents, but no one takes the time to just provide value, and provide them something that is tangible. Another thing is newsletters. So I talked a little about that. You can put newsletters in local businesses. We have some agents that mail newsletters. If you're going to mail newsletters, um, I highly recommend that you put them in colored envelopes. The colored envelopes is really important, and handwrite the cards. I know it's a pain in the butt, but it's something that's important because everyone opens a colored envelope. It's either a birthday card or an announcement, someone's having a baby or getting married or whatever it is, everyone opens a colored envelope. So even if you can even do a black envelope too. But we have a lot of agents that I probably have about 60 agents that have newsletters every month that we create, and most of them mail them out, even if it's to 50 people. Um, and their newsletters, their farm could really be their past clients too. So you can incorporate maybe your past clients and the people likely to sell in the neighborhood that you're focusing on. So newsletters are a great option. Postcards. There's different ways you can do postcards. I like to always do postcards with a call to action and have it be very intentional. I use QR codes a lot for my agents, so you want the call to action to be able to capture them in some way. Whether you're using like Flowdesk or a CRM or a website that does a lead capture on it, um, you want to do a QR code on your postcard so that you can capture and see the analytics behind it on who is actually taking action. So there's tons of different strategies behind that. There's two main different ways that people do postcards. We use a system here called Wise Pelican. That's typically very expensive for an individual agent to do. So we actually allow you guys, we'll do it for you, but use our Wise Pelican account. And all you have to do is pay for postage. We upload a custom design from our graphic designers, and we have that QR code on there so that we can capture their information. And then we mail it out, direct mail through the system. We just send you guys the payment link for the postage to be compliant, but everything is hands off and done for you. That's the easiest way to do it. It's the cost of a stamp per postcard. The other way to do it is EDDM, so every door direct marketing, and that is through the USPS website that you would actually choose your route. And when it comes to choosing your route, the drawback of EDDM is you can't say, hey, sometimes their routes are huge. There's like 2,000 people in the routes. And you don't have the option of saying, oh, I only want to send to 500 people. You have to, whatever route that you choose, it has to be to all the people within that route. And you can go on the USPS website and search in their search bar EDDM tool, and you can actually see the different routes within your specific area, whether you're in Arizona or not. The cool thing about EDDM is it's only 19 cents a card. So that's really great when it comes to you want to market a full area and you don't need the likely to sell, or that's not your strategy. You want to kind of blanket the neighborhood. You can do that through EDDM at a lower cost, which is great. And we print those in-house. Like I said, we have a full print shop, which is great. So we can print all of those in-house with the EDDM stamp on it. And the drawback to that is you have to go to the post office and drop it off. So we have a lot of agents that do that. They also incorporate on the postcards different events that are going on in the valley. Or let's say that you're hosting a barbecue for pre-summer or back to school or whatever it is. You can put that on the postcard and kind of generate more of a lead flow to a specific event, which is always great. We have some agents that do like the sports schedules. Everyone keeps the sports schedules, and the purpose of the print marketing is really you want to have permanent or semi-permanent, I should say, advertising on someone's kitchen counter. Just like for me, I love to look through the coupons. I don't use any of them, but they sit and take up real estate on my counter in the kitchen. And I think about it every time I walk by. Now, do I put them in my purse for when I'm actually out there and use them? I always forget, but they take up that real estate, and I think about them almost every day when I'm going to the kitchen, through the garage to my car. So we want to take up that real estate, and we want to provide something of value rather than I'm a real estate agent, I sell in your area. You want to give them a reason to keep that marketing material. And so you want to provide them something. We have some agents who do magnets as well. And you could do like quick phone numbers. I'm sure you guys have seen those emergency phone numbers on a magnet, and it's branded to the agent. Or maybe it's a calendar magnet or a measuring metrics conversion table or something like that. Those are great for magnets. They're also great for postcards. And then you can also do door hangers too, which is great, where we can print those in house and you can just go and a door knock. You don't have to ring the doorbell, but you can just put those door hangers on the doors. There's also companies out there that'll do that for you. There is a company, and I think they're in the Southeast Valley of Arizona. They're called the Flyer Guys, and they're super inexpensive, but they have a minimum of like 500 doors. So, and it all has to be in the same geographical area. But there's people that will drop those off for you if you're super busy. I have an agent that goes on a walk with her dog every single night with her kids. And once a week, she drops by and puts a door hanger or a pop by on her neighborhood is her farm. So it's super easy for her to just take the dog for a walk. She has the kids in the stroller, and she just pops by and puts door hangers or pop bys on the neighbors' houses once a month or sometimes more often. Pop buys. So a lot of agents are, I'm sure you guys have heard about pop buys before, but it's like a little card and maybe you do something cutesy with it. We had a lot of people do like um, the sparklers with a little pop by card branded to them for 4th of July. Some agents, instead of physically popping by, they will actually send a card, and then they'll have like something little that you can insert in the card, like a flat um, sunscreen packet or seed paper for growing in spring, and all just different things that you can make memorable that are inexpensive that you can drop off or mail. All right, so I wanted to give you guys some examples. So here's a postcard that we did, what's happening in your area. Everyone's always interested in what closed, what came on the market, and what's going on kind of within that neighborhood if you're focusing on a specific neighborhood as a whole. Pre-listing checklists, like a lot of times you're providing something of value that they can keep on their counter, and it's something as simple as a checklist. Maybe they're not selling, but they have a great referral because their neighbor is about to sell or thinking about selling, or their aunt or their coworker that's coming into the new headquarters here in Arizona, whatever it is. So giving s- giving people the ability to refer you business easily is the key. Life in the Meadows. This was in Peoria, a specific, just different events in the area that were coming up. So this was a postcard one agent did. Expired listing guide. So if someone that it makes a good impression if you give them something like an expired listing guide and a CMA to specific properties that you think would be a great target, and that you could do a really good job. Do some research on it, make sure it's not listed again. But it's a great item to drop off with a CMA. We talked about relocation guide. Here's a Diamondback schedule. You could do any sports schedule out there. We used to do the bulk trash pickup schedule, and a lot of places, at least in Arizona, have gone to you actually call to schedule your bulk pickup. But the bulk, if you're not in Arizona or not in an area that has a phone number now to schedule your bulk pickup, that would be fantastic thing to have because everyone keeps it on their fridge or on their counter. And then a pop by. I have an agent who their farm is schools within a certain neighborhood, and they go after the teachers because they're a great referral resource for them. So they drop off cookies, or they drop off Red Bulls, or they drop off coffee. They do a pancake breakfast, or they do lots of little things. But this is an example of a pop by card. You would hole punch it right here, and then you would tie it around a ribbon, using a ribbon to light some cookies or whatever the theme is for that pop by card. Any questions so far? All right. This is a lifestyle. Oh, did we just get a question? Oh, awesome, Megan. All right, we do a lot of lifestyle guides, and that's something that I love doing. It's different than a lot of other title companies do. But we put together lifestyle guides around a specific area. So I think this one was Sun Lakes, if I remember correctly. And you provide value, right? So that's all the little community events, the benefits of the area, nearby dining, maybe it's the clubhouses, maybe it has to do with golf courses. We have a golf course guide that's lifestyle around specific geographical areas. It's great to have at open houses, it's great to drop off. A lot of times if you have a connection or make a connection with the clubhouse manager, they'll let you keep those there as well. So, giving them to the employees, giving them to homeowners in the area. Maybe you go to the local coffee shop in Sun Lakes or whatever the neighborhood is, and you say, "Hey, I would love to have these lifestyle guides provided to your clients. Can I put it on the bulletin board?" Or there's just so many different ways. I got my last plumber from a bulletin board at a local coffee shop. And I'm sure you I'm sure you guys have seen that out and about. Um, this is an example of a door hanger. Again, this is that QR code that goes to this person actually uses HomeBot, so it goes directly there. I know there's Home IQ, there's tons of different contact forms or lead captures on websites, or even if you use a Google form, which is free, we can create a QR code and make it a call to action. The best of the valley, so top restaurants or spas or shopping or things to do for kids or whatever the subject is, we can create a lifestyle guide around that. And then Letter of the Heart. So this is an old Buffini thing that is so great. And a Letter of the Heart is a great example of print marketing, and it has a 61% conversion rate. And it's an actual extended Christmas card, really, but you can send it out 4 times a year, and it goes to not only people that isn't within your farm, but also your sphere of influence as well. So if you're doing a non-geographical farm, you can do it to your sphere of influence and past clients. And it's just a life update. You want to, we'll create some picture, like have you have some pictures on there so people can connect with you, resonate with you. There's one tiny line at the bottom. If you know anyone who is looking to buy or sell, please, I would love to work with them. Let me know. But it's personal. It's more about you and the family or the trip or the dog that you just adopted, whatever it is. It's more about connecting from person to person rather than it being, hi, I'm a real estate agent. Because people are just tired of that. Everyone knows 12 agents statistically, at least in the state of Arizona. So you want to connect with people on a deeper level. Supporting locals. So coupons. This is an EDDM card that I have for an agent, and she partnered with a local business, and that local business is offering a coupon or a discount if they bring in that postcard. So this agent has a boutique owner that she does a Galentine's event for women every single year in February, and they get to come to the boutique. This is a boutique, a clothing boutique, and they have mimosas and light little bites and stuff like that. And then they can bring in their postcard slash coupon to get 10% off. So anytime you can bring a coupon, like I said, coupons live on my kitchen counter all the time, whether I use them or not. And it's a great way to help the business owner generate business. But because you're helping the business owner generate business, it creates that referral partnership and relationship where anyone they know, they're going to refer you business, and it just kind of deepens that connection. Here's another example of a pop by card, and here's another postcard example of like stats and neighborhood events for that kind of geographical area. All right, or digital farming. So digital farming is exciting because it's free, right? And a lot of the print we do, if you don't send it through the mail, is free to you guys. But digital farming is kind of more exciting for some people, so I like to mention it, and I'll tell you why you should use both no matter what going forward. But we'll talk about social media posts, videos, YouTube, Linktree, Facebook groups, digital newsletters, drip campaigns, like everything that your database, whether you have a CRM or an Excel spreadsheet, either way, everything should come back to the same people that you're targeting over and over. You want to do at least 14 to 18 touches a year. That's where they say there's someone will raise their hand after 14 to 18 touches, whether it's print or digital touches. Guides and flip books. Like I mentioned, those relocation guides or any type of guides that we do, we can create into flip books. And if you're not familiar with flip books, it's that have you guys ever been opening a magazine or something online and you can hear the page turn? That's a flip book. So we can create a 20-page guide and then create it into a flip book. And when you create it into a flip book, you get a URL, just like a website URL that you copy and paste in your email signature. You can put it on social media. You can put it in a Facebook group. You can put it literally anywhere you can put any other website URL. And that's why it's cool to have Linktree. If you guys don't, the free version is perfect. I'm on the free version. And what Linktree allows you to do is have one place where all your links are. So as an agent, what I would recommend is you have a link tree, and on that link tree, you have your website, you have your relocation guide, your buyer's guide, your seller's guide, your for sale by owner guide, and your social media channels. Like everything goes to one spot so that you can capture, so they can go where they need to go, and they only have one QR code or one link that they have to go to. And I like to create that link tree URL into a QR code that you can put on all of your marketing as well. Um, Another thing of digital farming is ads. A lot of agents do Facebook ads. They used to be great back in the day. You can still get some good business. Where I see a lot of great ads being done in the social media space is when you're trying to get relocation clients. And let's say that you want to target Santa Barbara in California because tons of people move from Santa Barbara to your city. Um, you can't get super specific on all of the filters like you used to, but you can do a 25-mile radius and have some type of guide of moving from Santa Barbara um, to Scottsdale and have it go to a form that they fill out and they then get to download that guide. So a lot of creating different pockets for relocation ads work really well. Also, ads work well if you're doing like a neighborhood event. You have to just kind of keep it open and let it be to a 25-mile radius, but that's okay. If other people in the neighborhood next to you get that, they can still come if they want to come to that neighborhood event, but they're seeing you on multiple platforms. And then your Google My Business page. And we've done a couple classes on Google My Business, and that's always so important to have as a real estate agent. Not only will you come up on the right side of Google, but all of your content is indexed. So if you're doing any type of digital farm and you have a event coming up for that neighborhood, you want to make sure to put it on your Google My Business page. There's a spot that you can post an update to Google My Business, and you want to definitely put that on the update of your Google My Business page because it's indexed by Google, right? If someone types in things to do in McCormick Ranch this weekend and you have an event this weekend, you want it to come up, right? So it's another way you can just be seen online. And here are some examples. So, one of the things we did for Mother's Days is the different Mother's Day events and activities. You could do stats like a social media. You could create a Facebook group. We have agents that I had an agent that does, or she used to not, it's summer right now, but she has a hiking group and hiking in Scottsdale kind of group. And she created the Facebook group, which is awesome. And she posts like just they do meetups once a month, I think it is, or once a week. And they go to different trails and they just meet up. It's an open invitation to anyone that wants to go hiking. And she's passionate about hiking and loves hiking. So it fits her authentic being and allows her to do something she already loves doing, but she just invites other people to do it with her. And you can have a women's group if you're worried about safety or something like that. There's so many different things that you can do within a Facebook group. Um, and you can also make it towards your geographical farm as well. So, dads who have dogs in McCormick Ranch. Like you can get super creative. Yes, there's other Facebook groups out there, but if you niche down, you'll see a really good response. I have an agent that has his subdivision as a Facebook group and he posts different updates. Hey, did you know that they're having a happy hour at Goldie's this weekend from 4 to 6? It's buy one, get one free. Or there's a local band that's playing at so and so bar and grill this weekend. He also puts like HOA updates in there. Hey, I just saw this on the HOA homepage. Check out the link for the updated HOA projects that they're going to be doing this summer or whatever it is. And then you want to put people on your newsletter, right? Here's an example of a newsletter, a page one of a newsletter with local events, some stats, just some fun things within that kind of are specific to that month. So this one was for July, Beat the Heat, creative ways to keep your home cool. Some local events, some market stats. On the back, there's a ton of other information that has the agent's branding as well. We also do a magazine style. So these are really nice when it comes to having them printed. We can also put it in a digital format. This agent actually mails these out. So he takes these to the post office. There's a spot for a postage stamp and he mails them out, and it's like a magazine fold over. So here's the front cover, that's the back cover, hot spots in town, all the new restaurants he likes to keep, and then where to look for fireworks for 4th of July. This went out at the end of June, and market stats, some listings, and then just some commentary that he puts in. Another thing digital is video. Like I said, you definitely, even if you don't like being on video, I know that's a really tough thing for a lot of agents, including myself, is no one, very rarely are people comfortable with video. But even if you're not in the video and you're just highlighting local businesses digitally or interviewing the business owners or talking about the happy hours or the band or the coffee shop or whatever it is, in your local area, video is really important. One of the things that I want to mention is something just changed on Instagram where all of your posts and videos on Instagram are now syndicated in Google, which is huge, huge. So if you post about a local area and things to do this weekend, for example, if someone is searching that on Google, things to do this weekend in so and so city or so and so area, your post organically can come up at this moment, which is phenomenal. It doesn't have to be a paid advertisement. They're syndicating automatically right now, which is huge news for everyone who is on social media. So it's exciting and important that you guys put your stuff. Video is going to rank the highest on social media, even if you're not in the video. I would love everyone to be in the video, but even if you're not in the video, you definitely want to pay attention to providing value and creating some really great hashtags and captions. And you want to write some text in the body of that social media post so it can be syndicated through SEO on Google. And it can just be like a story post or a post on Instagram, discover local. So the new restaurants or activities, or maybe a new bowling alley just opened up in your neighborhood, whatever it is. And we have about, I think I do 35 different posts a month branded, and you can brand it to you as the agent. Every single month that changes. So if you want those, just let me know. So we talked about Google My Business profile, um, some lifestyle content like, hey, outdoor dining in Scottsdale, or deal of the week, or why live in Scottsdale. This is a YouTube video. This is a YouTube video. Best things to do in Phoenix summer 2025. It could be the top 10 golf courses in Scottsdale. That's a different video. This agent is not in the video. He just went and um, got some footage, some B-roll footage of local golf courses within his area that he farms. And here's a lifestyle guide again. That's the front and back cover. And that is the inside. And you can send this out digitally via a flip book, events that this area is known for, a map of the area, top restaurants and shops and stuff to go to. Everyone likes lifestyle content because not everyone's in that bicycle. Like I said, everyone moves on average every 7 to 9 years. So they might not even be thinking for the next 5 years about buying or selling their home, but they're able to, one, refer you and also consume your content. So you're top of mind when they are ready to sell or when they hear someone talking about real estate. All right, we're going to talk about layering it up. So, my favorite thing to do when it comes to ROI in farming is layering the digital with the print, with connecting with local businesses, connecting with the schools, maybe sponsoring a pancake breakfast. Maybe it's you do a charity drive, a back to school charity drive, if you're focusing on schools or a specific area that has a school. Or maybe it's like you're helping the firefighters, the local station, do a toy drive for the kids for Christmas to foster care, whatever it is. You want to layer the digital, the print, get the local businesses involved. You want to do in person community events, whether it's a neighborhood barbecue, or we used to do, there was this one agent that I coached, and she loved yoga, and she didn't do it like professionally or anything, but she did a yoga class every Saturday morning at the local neighborhood park, and it was free, and she got tons of business just by going through. She was not a professional instructor, but she would just do yoga and kind of stretch and connect with the people that came. And it was so crazy. It started with like 4 people and it got to like 30 people a week in this park. Um, because it was a free neighborhood yoga class. And she got so much business by just doing that. She was in Greyhawk, and there was a specific little area in Greyhawk that had a little neighborhood park that was set up for that. And she also brought donuts. So it was called a yoga and cheat day. And they would have donuts, a little table that she would set up, and then they would do yoga and then eat donuts. And it was just this fun thing that anyone that wanted to come to within that neighborhood. And then would also do charity events wrapped into that. One of my favorite things, my mom's an agent, and when she was selling residential, one of my favorite things we did for her was doing a open house pet adoption. And we had an open house her listing that the homeowners, she obviously asked permission, but the homeowners loved rescuing animals. And so she contacted a local shelter and they put up a tent on the front yard of this property. They had a regular open house, but on top of that, they had the rescue for the shelter, a little pop up tent, and a bunch of puppies or dogs that people could adopt. What was cool, I think there was like seven dogs. What was cool is both things drove people into that home, and all the dogs got adopted that day. And someone who bought or rescued one of the dogs actually bought the open house. So it was really cool to see kind of how that all comes together, but you can involve charity within your open houses, within your events. Everyone likes to give to others. All right. Do we have a chat? Okay,
It was
awesome.
just it was just Kenya she had to hop off.
Mm, no problem. All right, you want to track your ROI. So return on investment. Whether you're doing it through a CRM or a flow desk, you want to look at your analytics and see what's working. When I talk to people about farming, I always say it's a slow burn, because a lot of times agents will start the process, get really excited, and 4 months in, the consistency goes away, because in their mind, they're not seeing the results. Well, plan for at least a year. Um, and make sure that you're layering it, because if you just do a postcard or you just do a digital newsletter, it's hard to track and see that ROI come into fruition. Could you get lucky on the first postcard? Absolutely. I had an agent a couple weeks ago. She sent one postcard and got 2 listing appointments. Now, that's not consistently normal, but it's an area that she was looking to farm, and we had a really good message, and she was providing value without expecting anything in return. But you want to track your analytics to see if it's working. and you want to have a follow-up action plan as well. So whether it's okay, um I'm going to mail 50 people a newsletter every single month, and then I'm going to send it to them digitally once a month as well. And then I'm going to follow up with a phone call once a month as well. Like, plan it all out, whether you use a CRM to put the task management in, or you use a Google Calendar or an Outlook calendar to schedule your tasks. Either way, you want to have an action follow up plan. You want to track your consistency. Consistency is 100% where it's at. Any questions? So this is one quote that I love. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And it comes back to that consistency and creating yourself that successful plan of action for your farming, whether it's geographical or niche down to a specific hobby that you like to do, or whatever kind of farm it is. You want to layer it up. You want to make sure digital print, pop buys, all of that stuff is incorporated. I rather you start with 25 people than try and do a farm of 500. A lot of times that's not manageable and it gets super expensive. Instead, let's dial it in and do 50 people. And have that be your consistent farm that you constantly reach out to and create value for. Any questions?
I have a question, Brie.
Yeah.
Great presentation. I loved everything. Took some great notes. One thing I wanted to touch on just a little bit in the beginning was like the turnover rate and the likely to sell stuff. Could you go back over that again, just briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. So turnover rate and likely to sell. So there's different, obviously, ways to pull that. One of the things I do is I have about 8 different farming platforms because I kind of geek out on it. But several of the platforms that we have access to, we can see what the turnover rate within a specific neighborhood is. So, for example, if there's 50 homes in that subdivision, and let's say 10 homes have sold, bought or sold, a transaction has happened in that last year, that has a really high turnover rate, which is really good, 5 out of 50. And you want that turnover rate to be at least at a 5% so that you know people are moving. Um, like I said, in my area, not a lot of people move there. So the turnover rate is really, really low percentage wise. So it wouldn't be the best or most effective place to farm if someone wanted to do a geographical farm in my area. So we can pull that per neighborhood and we can play with the different subdivisions and say, oh, this subdivision has a good turnover rate, this one doesn't. This one only has 20 homes in that subdivision. So, of course, if they sell 2 homes, it's going to have a high turnover percentage rate, but that doesn't mean that's necessarily great place to farm because that place only has 20 homes. So there's a lot of different factors you kind of take different key analytics to when you're pulling your geographical farm. And it's something that I go over with my agents in real time in a live environment when we're pulling farms, so that we can kind of talk about it. We can say, hey, you know what? I want to do this subdivision. It has a turnover rate of 10%, but there's only 50 homes in that neighborhood. Maybe I need to expand it to the subdivision next to it as well, so I can capture a larger group of people to put in my pool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you're looking primarily at subdivision rather than a radius.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
You can do both. Both are optional. But I like to do it kind of by subdivision because there's defined geographical boundaries for it, and it's easier for you if you're doing like mailing. If it's email, it really doesn't matter. You could do a radius as far as you want. But when it comes to mailing, it's easier to manage as the agent when there's specific subdivisions or boundaries in place.
Okay, thank you. And then also, can you talk a little bit more about the likely to sell again?
Yeah, absolutely. So likely to sell, there's different filters that I use, and there's key data indicators, I should say, when someone is going to move. Since everyone traditionally, at least nationally, moves every 7 to 9 years, which is much longer than it has been in the past, the census has different data points on all of us. They sell our data everywhere. Um, it's it's not the best situation, but they have the data, right? So we can leverage that data to choose a likely to sell list based on key indicators. So, um, how long they've lived in the house, what their mortgage rate is, when they got their mortgage, how much they have paid off in their mortgage, how much equity percentage. It could be something like their occupation. It could be how much income they make. It could be that they have, um, they're over a certain age. Maybe they're like kind of moving into that assisted living space. It could be that your neighborhood is, you have a ton of people who sell and downsize because there's huge homes. We could do it by square footage. We could do it, there's literally like over 150 filters that we can kind of splice the data from and create a likely to sell list based on those key indicators.
Nice. Wow, that's a lot.
Yep, it's kind of creepy when you look at it from the perspective as there's a lot of data out there, but and not everyone has their data all, like not every single person has their income, not every single person has their age, but a lot of the public data that's available we can pull.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
That was great, Bree. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. I hope I gave you some things to think about and a lot of stuff to kind of go over. If you need help with this, this is what Kaylee and I do. So we can help you guys put a plan together, create the follow-up plan, keep it consistent, create some marketing items for you guys to really stand out within either your geographical farm or your sphere farm or your for sale by owner farm, whatever kind of farm that you're looking to do, we can assist you with that.
I actually have another question, Brie.
Yeah.
So, in regards to marketing for your listing,
Mhm.
how would you, what are some ways that you would recommend doing that? And do you prefer like mailers over door hangers, over, postcards or just envelopes?
Yeah, good question. So, kind of my process I would have my agents do is I would, before the listing goes live, I would invite all the agents to a neighborhood or all the neighbors to a neighborhood open house. And I would send it out either a door hanger or postcard or a flyer. And I would do it a week in advance. So it would hit their mail a week in advance. And it's just an invitation. You could also do an invitation card, which is really nice, in an envelope and like you're invited and make it all fancy. But some piece of mail inviting them to the neighbor open house. And other people can still come, but it's almost like an exclusive invite, and everyone loves being asked to the party, right? Or invited to the party. So whether they come or not, it's, you make it special specifically for them. Maybe you have a regular open house happening, but you invite the neighbors for the first hour. they might come later, and that's okay. That's fine. You're still driving people through the open house, but you're going to be there anyway. So you might as well invite the neighbors and kind of make it an invite only exclusive a week before. I would also send an email layering that, inviting them as well. And then all you're doing with those is inviting them to the open house and inviting them to check out their neighbor's home. People are curious by nature. It creates a lot of it creates their desire and curiosity to know what their neighbor has, or they might know someone who's coming into the neighborhood. A lot of times family members from out of state want to live near the grandparents or live near, or they co-parent with someone and they want another property within that area. So your neighbors can be a great resource for you guys. So that the week before, and then when just listed, either postcard, email, or both. Like the day it goes just listed. And then you want to do, like, I always used to wrap a charity. So come by the open house. We're collecting a food donation for St. Mary's Food Bank. Come in, drop off any food, non-perishables that you might have. It gives people an excuse to come to the open house, even though they're not looking to buy or sell, because a lot of times people feel awkward not having a reason to come to the open house. And I love nosy neighbors. A lot of times they're the people that can sell the home for you, so we want to drive people within the open house. So when it's listed, maybe the second open house, you do a charity event. And then to market the listing, on top of that, I recommend we do Instagram Reels, we do brochures and flyers. You want to put that all out there digitally, but also print. We also do an e-blast for our agents. So when they have a property that's just listed or coming soon, we'll do an e-blast to not only the neighbors, but also agents within that area. Because I feel like nowadays you have to market to agents on top of just putting it in the MLS. So we do that a lot. We do a just listed e-blast for our agents to the neighborhood as well as to other agents in the market. And maybe you do a Facebook ad too, from like a feeder market like Santa Barbara, California to Arizona, or you do a Google paid advertisement, or you do a YouTube ad or an Instagram ad. And there's lots of different ways you can really push your stuff out there. You could also door knock and put door knockers on people's homes. You could go to local businesses. There's just so much you can do. Sorry, that was a long answer.
No, that was great. That was exactly what I was looking for.
Mhm. And then make sure to send a postcard when it goes under contract or when it sells as well, because you want people to see that you are a good agent and have the ability to close the deal and provide value to your clients and really help them get to that finish line. It's just as important to put the sold sign on the sale sign in the front yard because the neighbors are watching that. It may already be like, as soon as it goes under contract, definitely put the under contract sign writer up because they are watching that.
Okay. Awesome. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? No? All right. Well, Bree, thank you. And we can I'll send out the recording once it's done downloading and everything. And Bree, did you want to include the slides
Yeah,
as
I'll
well?
send over the
Okay.
slides.
Okay. So just in case anyone wants to go back and refer to anything that we went over today, or you joined late or had to leave early, we'll send this out. And you know, come to Bree or myself if you have any questions or need help with anything. Bree is such a great resource for stuff like this. So thank you so much, Bree, for doing this class today. Really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone.
Actually,
Yes.
one more question, Bree.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're good.
Do you, in regards to doing like the Facebook ads, do you have maybe like an amount that you recommend to spend,
I mean,
considering you're going to be doing like mailers, all of this, or is it just like based off the agent's individual budget?
it's based off your budget, but even if you did like $5 a day for 3 days leading up to the open house, that would be perfectly fine.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, all right. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.